It's time for Q&A in the Kitchen. It's a podcast and YouTube series where tattoo artists and a piercer talk about some of the more common topics, questions, etc. that those that do tattoos and piercings and those that collect them may have. Brought to you in part by Skin Kitchen Tattoo in the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. What we're going to talk about today is how do you know if your tattoo or piercing is a bad idea? But before we get to that, just to let you know who's here. Over here is Jimmy St. John, tattoo artist at Skin Kitchen. Right next to me is Jack Lowe, tattoo artist and owner of the Skin Kitchen. I'm DaVo. I do body piercing at the Axiom and own the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. And then there's Brent over here, tattoo artist at Skin Kitchen Tattoo. So with this one, I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about.
Yeah,
we've all seen somebody be in that position. I guess with me, if you're at the end of a 4-day bender, you're not quite sure what part of town, state, city, or country you're in. The guy you're hanging out with has a nickname like Mad Dog, Whiskey Joe, or Cocaine Freddy.
Hey, you leave Freddy out of this.
Yeah, leave Freddy out of this, man.
And the guy that's going to tattoo you has Born to Lose tattooed across his neck, but it's larger on one side and then smaller on the other side.
It's not born to, it's born to loose.
Yes,
Yeah.
and if you look too closely, there's 2 O's.
Yes.
Then
Buzz too, huh?
Your tattoo may be a bad idea. That might be a lot of things that are pointing to that.
I remember a good one. It was a Sturgis, and a guy comes tearing into the. It's like my first Sturgis. He comes tearing into the back when we're in the back of the ice cream shop up in Deadwood.
Yeah.
And he's about my height, smaller gentleman, not very large, bald head, on his motorcycle. He's wound up. He's had a good time. He's been out there for a day or two so far. And he comes in and he wants a Tweety bird in full color on the side of his head, giving the bird. Zaz goes, "Man, are you sure?" He goes, "Yeah, man. I don't, like about this big." "You positive, bro?" And he drew it up and stenciled it. "Go look at it in the mirror, how big that really is." "That's perfect, dude. Yeah, let's do it." So they laid down, they did it. And Zez, hammered the color in it. It's nice and bright and yellow and oranges and whites and all this. And he goes and he rides around the whole rally and shit. And he comes in around towards the end of the rally, and he comes in and he's all kind of sober looking. He goes, "Oh, no. Well, fellas, it's been a good rally. It's time to go home." I'm not thinking this was probably a very good idea to get the side of my head tattooed like this. I'm like, "Do your hair grow at all on the sides?" He's like, "No, not really. I'm bald all over." I'm like, "Yeah, you're stuck with it. We could do a background behind it, maybe." He was like, "Well, I'll let you guys know what happens next year." And never saw him again.
Oh no. He wasn't allowed to leave the house ever
he
again.
was never allowed. He's probably got a chaperone to go to the mall.
It's very true. In moments of, moments in life that you have, you'll hit really tremendous lows and really tremendous highs. And at those points, I think it's best to stay away from getting tattooed during those points.
Yeah.
Now, once you're through them and the lesson is learned and you've grown and you see how that has impacted your life, one way or another, it's good to remember whether it's something good to do or bad. Maybe then get the tattoo.
Yeah.
Because those are usually the ones that are most liked on the body, after some years. I look at, my body, and I'm pretty extensively tattooed, and I started getting tattooed pretty young. So, I have stuff when I was in a teenager, like mid-teens, to now, a 50-year-old guy. So, I've been so many people. I've grown in so many different ways over that amount of time that I don't relate to those tattoos the way I did, but it's really neat to be reminded of who I was when, and it's a neat reminder for me to just show myself and reassure myself that I'm growing, I'm changing, give other people that same space to do that. Don't be so quick to jump on somebody's ass. I mean, look at this one. You were that guy.
Yep.
Look, it proved right there, man.
There you
So back up, relax, and let this person live their life and their journey. Because I'm reminded of mine, and it keeps you kind of humble.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
So maybe right when your girlfriend dumps you, don't get Tina on your forearm.
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
Yeah, maybe let that marinate just a little bit.
Just let it simmer for a little while.
Yeah.
Because it could morph into something really cool. Like you got Medusa decapitated on your forearm. And like to you, that symbolizes Tina, So
right.
Medusa or whatever you want to do,
There might be
you don't have to put the words.
Yeah.
Strong emotion, and you can ask anyone in prison. Strong
Never made good
emotion
decisions.
makes you do things that aren't typical of your behavior.
Yeah.
That's why it's a
And
defensive
it's
a
called-
tattoo is,
Yeah.
they're fun, they're neat, but they're a big deal. They're going to be with you forever. So that time is locked onto your body.
Yeah, they're going to be around as long as you are.
Even if you cover it up, you're going to remember it.
Yeah, it's still in you. It's still
Even
in
if
you.
you have it removed, it's there or was there.
So, and everybody, gives it different weight, I suppose. Because some people, I'm sure you've met, that will come in and is almost panicked that they need to get this thing off of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And I had a gal, and it was in the first shop I ever worked in, of course. She came in with a girlfriend of hers, and she was just, girl power. Screw that guy. I don't need that guy. He can just get, forget him, right? So comes in with her girlfriend, and she's going to get her tattoo because she can do whatever she wants because she doesn't have to listen to him because they broke up now. And okay, so she gets, it was like a little rose, the X80 fucking, the X80 rose on the Spalding and Rogers sheet.
Yeah.
And anyway, a couple hours later, phone rings. It's her. She's bawling, asking how she can get it off because he says he won't talk to me until I get it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
So, she's got issues beyond that tattoo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're not qualified to even get into those.
No,
Yeah. Maybe don't be with a guy that wouldn't talk to another human because of a picture on their skin.
Yeah, because they made a choice.
Maybe you're not going to learn a lot of good stuff
No.
from that guy.
And maybe he's not into you for you, and maybe he's more into you for how you look.
Right. And if that's the person you want, then this
Maybe
is going
he
to be
likes
your
you 'cause he
life.
wants to control you.
This is going to be your life. You're
Who knows?
creating that. But anyway,
And
so
he's going to dump you when you don't look like that anymore.
in that way, like I said, she was terrified. She was just, I have just ended my life. So, and other people, like this guy with the Tweety bird,
Yeah.
well, shit, I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, man. Here we go.
And it's hard on our side because do we have some responsibility in that?
Absolutely.
I think we do.
Yeah.
But again, I am not going to choose someone's path for them.
No.
I'm not going to be responsible for their choices.
Right.
I'm not going to say, oh, you should definitely do this. And then when it blows up in your face, you come back at me? Hell no, bro.
No, bro.
I make my own mistakes. You make your own mistakes. This is what I did when I reached that level, and this is how it worked out. But I didn't say there is a better way or that's a wrong way or anything. That's just how it went for me. So you make your own shit and you pay the bill because I had to, and I don't want to be responsible for yours. But at the same time,
I'm just here to point out the signs, man. Like the speed limit is 65.
Yeah.
There's a steep grade ahead, sharp curve down below, and this is going to get hectic.
Right. So
like if you're prepared for that and you're signing up for it, word. If not,
right.
cool.
I've
Yeah.
It's
always-
your decision, man, not mine.
I've always approached it that here, I'm going to give you all this information.
Mm-hmm.
And if there is a problem in your life or something is conflicting, you hopefully have enough foresight and knowledge to know, oh, this isn't a good idea for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, if somebody was coming in for like a lip piercing and they don't have any other piercings and they work at a law office, I'm going to tell them there's no way to hide this. Absolutely no way. And even when you take the jewelry out, if you leave it in long enough, it's going to scar more than other piercings do. And it's going to be noticeable that you have that piercing or had that piercing for probably 10 or 15 years.
At least.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of like a thing. And the thing with the ups and downs, I mean, that's manic behavior. That's manic episodes.
Yeah.
We all have them. We just have them to lesser or greater degrees.
Yeah. That's those peaks and valleys.
Some people, they have a mental disorder, that a chemical imbalance that causes those to be exaggerated.
Right.
But we all go through that. And it's not we don't know you. We don't know you're going through this this period of your life. No.
And we're not going to treat you like you are.
No.
Yeah. Because that's degrading. That's not fair. I don't want to be treated like I can't make my own decisions. But at the same time, it can happen where people come back, and if they're not happy, it is your fault.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Always.
Well, that goes back to lack of accountability.
Of course,
that is always a problem.
Like
it's treading that line.
If emotion wasn't so strong and so prominent, it wouldn't be a defense in court. You know what I mean? Like, think about it. It's complete insanity or temporary insanity, or you lost your effing mind because somebody pushed you too far or whatever.
Those are the times you don't get tattooed. Did you see that Britney Spears thing when she kind of shit the bed, shaved her head, and walked into a tattoo shop? Yeah. Do you think that's one of her favorite tattoos?
No, and I think that had more to do with her trying to gain some compulsion or something of control in her life. Exactly. Because from what we've learned since, she had absolutely no control over anything that was going on in her life.
Right. So and trying to say that with a tattoo there's better ways to say it. Yeah, that's not the time.
Hallmark's made a living out of it. I pretty much guarantee if you got the time to read it.
And cards are hard enough to throw away, let alone a tattoo.
Jeez.
Yeah. I don't like getting cards.
Me either. It's like, what do I do with it now?
See, that's the more fun of it right there.
You spent the time and effort to get this, and then especially if they have like a personal note in it. It's like, now what do I do with this?
But it's like the card is just for the sake of the card.
Yeah.
Like the card is the gift, which the gift is the card.
It's the thought.
But there's nothing. It just says, love
somebody thought about you.
Yeah. Like, what now? What do I do with? I know
that. Are you going to be offended if I throw this away? Because I already got the message.
No, we don't care if you throw it away at all.
It's just, a lot of people.
But it's just a drop your line. Hey man, somebody thought about it.
But there'd be no reason for it, and there'd be no reason to give you a card if you weren't meant to keep it.
I think that my way with that kind of shit is just hold on to it for like a week or something. Put it on the
purposely knock it accidentally into the garbage,
and then it disappears in the cleanup.
Amount of time, it's got to go.
Yeah, it goes in the cleanup.
You're just gonna be inundated with like
there's still guilt.
There's that little
why?
And the worst version of that, and I know we're getting totally off the subject, is when you lose your parents.
Yeah.
And one of the siblings is kind of in charge of the fortune of crap nobody wants.
Right. Oh, and they're divvying out that stupid shit.
And you get the stuff, and it's like,
now there's guilt, and you feel bad if you throw the shit away. That's when you don't want to get it. Right. That's when you give it to your other siblings.
Stuff. My sister used to throw them in my car when I wasn't looking.
Yeah.
That's why I don't.
That's what you do.
One of the many reasons why I don't drive anymore.
Well, see, this is a plan. You go up on your bicycle, you roll up over your backpack, and you just dump it in the cars there inside, waiting on you to get there on your bicycle, because they're in cars. They're obviously there first.
It's like,
so when you come in, like, getting there for dinner, you just dump that crap in their cars and the floorboards under the little floor.
See, the problem with that is kind of like one of those cursed
they don't see them till they get home. Yeah,
I've tried that. It's like one of those cursed objects. You give it away.
Yeah,
you think it's gone, and then
boomerangs
it's back.
Yeah.
But see how that's bringing the family together.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so it keeps you guys to interact with each other. It's doing its job. Mom and dad are happy.
Passing out a bunch of fruit.
Your mom and dad are happy. That fruit cake has been around for 35 years and never opened.
And it's Santa Claus,
like brand new
and guilt.
Don't worry, it'll never grow mold. It's already mold.
Anyway, so we should probably talk a little bit about designs that you should just not get, or maybe some clues into, maybe this isn't such a good idea. Not emotionally driven, but
this is just a joke.
Substance abuse.
Don't take this seriously.
Okay.
But I always thought it was funny how people are like really heavy on the religious tattoos, but then they go stay away from like gang related and this and that. And I'm like, well, aren't they kind of the same thing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's an organization.
yeah,
You're
it's an organization. You want to be
tying
careful which one you
yourself
pick
to. Yeah.
You know, you
And-
don't want the Spectre organization tattoo on you because they were bad in James Bond. You know.
Well, I mean, there is a lot of that in some gang-related tattoos
Yeah.
too.
And at the
But I
root
just
of
always
it
thought
all,
it was funny because you get a picture of Jesus on you and nobody bats an eye.
No,
But I mean, you know, Christianity is a large organization, dude.
but I don't.
Yeah,
think,
you're
but
associating yourself with it. That's
yeah.
something to consider for sure.
At
It's
the
all
same
tribal.
time, you know, there's a lot of people walking around with devil tattoos.
Right.
Yeah, I got a bunch.
That people are like, yeah, it's just devil tattoo.
Yep.
Yeah,
know,
no
or a
association with the
hoodie
Church of
ghost.
Satan.
Or a hoodie ghost.
Yeah, the guy with the knife.
I mean, I got a Jesus riding a duck-billed platypus.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Arm,
Yeah.
so I mean,
The
that's-
object
yeah.
of tattoos is to have fun with it. It's
Balance
like
it
Being
out.
chased
Right?
by a giant
You know.
cock.
yeah, big black cock.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Busting
rounds.
But you don't see, you know, of course, you're not going to see tattoos of Muhammad.
Of what?
Muhammad.
Well, you're not supposed to draw him. That's what I
No.
remember, I've heard or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, nobody's
don't
ever
know. I
done. Hey,
yeah.
you know what? Nobody's ever done God either because they don't know what he looks like. It's just a cloud of rays and light.
A Muhammad
Yeah.
portrait would be something that would be on that list, I think.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
Yeah, it's not a good idea. I don't want to be guilty for putting it on you, and you sure as hell don't want to be seen anywhere with it.
Yeah, I think you have to be willing to carry the responsibility, or the you have to be willing to accept the public opinion of whatever symbol you're going to put
Yeah,
on
you're
you,
picking.
because and as an artist, you wear that symbol somewhat just by doing it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And whether that's right or wrong,
That's
if
just the way
you
it is.
do pizza sucks on somebody and you get, you know, and they get asked, hey, who did that? Oh, Jack did at Skin Kitchen. Well, they're gonna think that I agree with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I
Pizza
wouldn't,
hater.
or I would have, you know, or I wouldn't have done it, or whatever.
Right.
So, which they have, that has no bearing on, and
None
why I
whatsoever.
would, you know, but I have to consider that I am interacting with the public. They have to have a favorable view of me and my
Yes.
business to come in and give me the opportunity to sell them my art.
Especially
So-
in today's climate of
R-
things.
right. So it forces me to judge someone and tell them that I think what they're doing is inappropriate, which I have no right to do.
And I
Yeah.
don't want to be in that position.
But because other people think they do,
Right.
I have to now do what they
Right.
do and judge you and not give you the service that you want, because I need these people to give me their money, or I have to get a real job.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's hate symbols would be probably the most
Yeah.
primary example
yeah.
because you're automatically tied to it. If you do one of those tattoos,
You're stuck with it
But
for life.
everybody
Stuck with that
hates
stigma.
something.
know.
You know,
Right,
Yeah.
and that's that was kind of like my joke is like, you know, the cults and the everybody hates something and everybody, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
all the same thing when you boil it down, but I was, you know, that's just me making fun of it.
Yeah,
but-
yeah. No,
but
you're
yeah.
making enemies if you're gonna, like I said, pick a side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
you just have to be willing to.
Another thing
Yeah.
is like not researching what that design is before
Yeah.
you get it
Right,
done.
be careful,
And it
yeah.
may be associated to something you
Yeah.
have absolutely no idea about.
Yeah, if you see a symbol somewhere that you think's really cool and is really neat, just take the time to try to Google it or look it up.
Do a reverse
see what
image
it's,
search.
Yeah, see what it's tied to, if anything at all. If it's just a harmless, some dude doodled it up or drew it up, cool. If it's some tied to some mega organization of crime or government or some other
Or
thing, like
religion
that
leave
you
it
don't-
alone.
that you don't agree with.
And you have
Yeah,
to.
be
You have
careful
to.
what you tie to.
And you have to consider too. Yeah, today that symbol might not mean that
Nothing.
you like to kill puppies, but in a couple years, that symbol is going to be everywhere, and it's going to be tied to people who kill puppies. So now, do you stand by your tattoo, and because it has nothing to do with puppies or killing,
Right.
and it's other people's perception, and you're willing to stand by that? Fine,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
completely fine. Or is that you're gonna get tired of being labeled a puppy killer
Right.
and trying to explain yourself all
Every
because
time.
you're want to wear that symbol?
Right.
Well,
It's
I
a
think
battle
all
that
of
you got to
us-
You gotta
choose.
choose.
All of us, especially all of us at some point, have had somebody come up to us based on how we look and naturally assumed we were into their thing
Mm-hmm.
when we weren't, just based on the fact that we had tattoos,
of course,
or had a bald head, or this or that.
Of course.
And you start talking to them, and you're like, oh, you think I'm this. And that, so it's always, you have to understand that regardless of what the design is, everybody's going to have their own. It's like art in general. They're going to have their own interpretation of it.
Yep,
absolutely.
Same goes to piercing.
Yeah.
I've had numerous comments over the years of, well, the only people that get ear or eyebrow piercings are thugs in England. That's all that get it done, or like ne'er-do-well hooligans.
Right.
And it's like, no, that's not the way it is in the United States or anywhere else. But if you go to England, you're probably going to get that impression.
Yeah.
If you come across somebody that's English, they're going to have that impression.
Right.
And it's really hard to foresee that.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, too, you never had to give a fuck if you had something tattooed on you.
In the day, you didn't.
Because just the fact that you had a tattoo on you said everything.
You were
answered every fucking question that you could have about whatever it was that was tattooed.
Yeah.
Now it's such a mainstream thing. Well, now it comes down to, well, what does that mean?
Right.
Yeah. And on top of that, you cannot get angry. I don't care who you are. If you go somewhere and you feel like somebody is treating you poorly or badly or disrespecting you because you have a tattoo or a piercing.
No, you chose
took
to look
on
like
that responsibility the minute you got that done.
Yeah, that's your responsibility.
That's your responsibility. The rest of the world is not supposed to change for you.
Nope.
Hopefully, by you being a good ambassador and a wonderful person.
And that goes for everything,
and
walk
changing
in
their
life.
perception of what those people are like, that will go away. But at the same time, you knew that going
That's
in.
everyone's mission on this planet, whether you're normal as a Ken doll that comes out of the friggin' package, or you're as oddball as the slime thing that comes off, out of the toy section. Whatever you are, your walk of life, whatever you are, LGBTQT, whatever abbreviation you are, English test thing you are referred to, whatever you identify as, everybody should have that notion and want to put their best foot forward and be the best ambassador for whatever it is that you stand for and represent and identify as you can, because you wanted to have a good people have a good perception of it.
Well, tattoos at the core says "fuck off."
Yeah,
no, it really
has.
It really does.
It's been a symbol of
anti-socialism. It says, "Look, I don't give a fuck what you think."
Yeah,
I'm getting this done.
And I don't want any part of what you got. I don't care. I kind of want you to just get away from me. Look, these are my colors. This is my rattle. This is my bright yellow and orange back to tell you I'm fucking poisonous. So, of course, when that fluorescent colored frog jumps into the party, everybody knows why that frog is bright colored. It's because it's fucking poisonous. So it's kind of that, it's a built-in thing, I think, just, tribally and just as in a human response kind of thing. So there's people that are better at getting past those primal impulses and realizing, well, yes, this is a social thing. It doesn't mean anything. It is, people get tattooed for many reasons. A lot of them are loving reasons, caring reasons.
Yes.
So it means nothing. But you've got those other people that are a slave to these primal impulses. You bad must kill. Yeah. You good must protect. And so they are going to have a very strong reaction to that because they are just a slave to this impulse that they are having. And it's not necessarily a wrong one, because honestly, look at all cultures that have utilized tattooing. It's to, look, I'm scary. I don't give a fuck. I'm crazy. I'm poisonous. You better fucking respect me, because I don't give a fuck about it. Yeah. I will tear you up. That's what it says. So, you're going to get those responses no matter what. And even no matter how nice you are and what kind of ambassador you are, they're not going to let go of that, that thing that they feel is protecting them and keeping them safe. And that is fearing and knowing that you're a bad thing and scary because you are making yourself look scary.
Which is tribalism.
Right.
And tattooing has a strong root.
Oh, boy.
In body piercing, too, in tribalism in ancient times. It's how they identified themselves, and it's how they identified their provenance, either as a warrior or a person of power
your status.
or magic.
And just because you saw it on Pinterest doesn't mean that isn't still
for somebody.
What marking your body until the day you die means.
And the other thing you should really consider is when you're getting something done that comes from another culture, is whether it's offensive to that culture or not.
Right.
It's not a bad idea to try to reach out to somebody from that. A lot of people will look at it as, oh, wow, you enjoy something and you find something beautiful that is a part of my culture.
They respect that.
Then there's the people that are going to be like, you're offending me by having that.
And that it's just like the stolen valor thing, right?
Yep.
It's not that you're breaking the law, you're going to hell, anything like that. It's like, hey, man, it's respect.
Exactly.
It's
respect.
just the simplest, most important thing on the planet is all respect. You know, they are asking nothing of you other than to realize, hey, they wore this symbol because they are outstanding, and we recognize that.
Yeah.
You dubbing yourself outstanding and using the same symbol as this person that is respected is disrespectful to this person. And that, and some people want to do that. That's what they go through life, and they try to light as many fires as they can.
Yeah.
But realize that's on both sides. You got to realize those people exist.
Right.
And on top of that, you should know at least something about that fucking culture and what those tattoos mean.
I like to have fun with people sometimes,
Yeah.
I just make a joke out of a lot of it. That's
Sure. Well, you got to laugh, or you're going to be crying
like
constantly.
When a kid comes in and he's like 22 years old and he's got a book of like Russian prison tattoos or something, and he's like, I want to get stars on my knees. I'm like,
I
that's
wanna
not
get
a great
murdered.
idea. Like, I'm gonna do it. Like, okay, cool. So we tattoo stars on the knees, and I'm like, you should go to Moscow or St. Petersburg. Have you looked at like booking some travel tickets over there? They're like, no. Like, you should look into going to Russia, man. You'd love it.
Just a one-way flight.
One way.
What is it? Brighton Beach?
Yeah, you can go to New York. You can go anywhere. There's places in America you can go. I wouldn't recommend wearing shorts and shit.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't get spider webs tattooed in my ears and go down to Mexico.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get a black hand with an M negative spaced out of it on my kneecap or anywhere else on my body and go to Mexico. That's not a real good idea.
Yeah.
I haven't kept up on the newest ones, but I know those are a couple on the list that I would kind of stray away from.
Another thing when looking at designs is if you start going into a design for a tattoo and the design is so drastically in different directions, a different concept and different ideas, you may have a bad idea. Meaning that, you guys, we've talked about it a number of times.
There's an old saying.
It starts out with, I just want a lion, and then it turns into, I want a lion with my kids' names in the main and a tree in the back and all this other crap.
Well, now you've taken and you've wanted to stick 20 pounds of crap in a 5-pound sack.
And
it's not going to work, man.
It's not going to be good.
Really hard to read
that toilet's going to back up and flow everywhere.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that you lose is going to be important. So.
Yeah, I mean, will that couch fit in the room? Yeah, I mean, it'll fit.
If you
will
don't
it
want
fuck
nothing
the
else to
room
go
up?
with it? Yes.
Yeah. Will it make the room less enjoyable?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it'll fit.
We can cut the couch up into sections and shuffle it into that room to where you can not touch the floor, just the couch.
Now you ask somebody who knows what about how a room should look and how it's used and stuff, and ask them if it fit. They'll say, "Fuck no, it won't fit." Right?
Right.
So we can put the name in the leaf.
Right.
But
is it a good idea? No.
No, it's not. Yeah, it happens all the time. And it's these poor guys that are just begging their wives to allow them to do something they want to do.
Sometimes.
And then, of course, the wife is going to be like, well, if you do it exactly the way I say you are allowed to do it, then yeah. So then, I got to put her name in it and da-da-da and the kids and the day we got married and can you put her peeking over the fence at the background and henpecked hell. Yeah.
Or, I've seen it the other way, too.
Yep.
Boy. Oh, absolutely. You're right. Oh, absolutely. It's,
you get the boyfriend or husband that hangs over top of your shoulder. What are you going to do right there? What about this line? Are you going to take it to there? Like, can you make the face look like that? Like, can you sit F down? Get off me?
No relationship outside of your parents will last as long as your tattoos.
Nope. The general rule is only
outlasts everything.
Every tattoo I have has outlived every relationship I've had.
Yeah.
So
and a good general rule that usually we always go by is if you want like a name or something on you, it's a dead relative because they can't piss you off. They're dead. A child. Because no matter how mad they make you, they're still yours. Tough shit. That's pretty much the general rule. Like, that's it.
Yeah, there's a rule in portrait art that is never get a portrait of someone who's alive.
No.
Because they can still fuck up.
Yep.
You know, like what if you got Bill Cosby on you like 10 years ago?
Yeah, like when he was awesome and doing the electric company and Cosby's.
How many Michael Jacksons were done
before
I'm gonna
leave that one alone.
That got a mess.
The juice.
Yeah, so, so yeah, there are these kind of rules, unwritten rules that you go by, but sometimes there's a good reason.
I started thinking it is a list of these days.
Yeah, there's a long
list of portraits that have been blacked out now.
Oh boy.
Can you like put a clown mask on that or just a horse's ass or something?
A few of them are my favorite actors. That's the sad thing about it.
I know, yeah.
Some of them.
One I can think of in particular, but I won't go into.
No, you can't.
Don't do it.
Nope, you're paying that lawyer bill.
No.
Do we have the sense of beaver?
And that's always hard because you don't want to believe it because you've enjoyed their art for so long, but at the same time, it's just like, really?
Mm-hmm.
You could have had anything you wanted, and you did that?
Well, and that's the thing. You don't have to believe it. It just, it could be true or it might not be true.
Yeah.
You can't.
You gotta hang back and watch the evidence and make a decision yourself and see what you see.
Yeah, and you don't have to demonize the person or anything. The way I look at it is, man, I truly hope that is not true.
Right.
Yeah.
And if it is, I hope that person gets what they deserve, and the person that was the victim of that gets
something,
what they need,
everything that they can possibly get to get through all that.
Yeah.
But hope it's not true.
Right.
I don't build hate in my heart for someone that it's not justified at all. I mean, I have no proof. I've been blamed of things several times throughout my life that people pointed their fingers and knew I was to blame when I wasn't.
Yeah.
And it's a very lonely, powerless feeling.
Especially when they're telling you stories about yourself.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
Absolutely.
And I've had that happen years off and on. Not as much now as it was when I was younger and more of a.
I think people think that, at least maybe used to more so, that if you're a tattooer, you live this like mystical kind of like you're a wizard kind of lifestyle where, you don't just go home and watch TV and jerk off and go to bed and eat.
And play video games.
I'm just as boring as everyone else.
I know.
I'm not at, crazy sex parties doing drugs off of chicks' asses and going to rehab and all this stuff. Like I had this handful of people when I came back to town shortly before I opened Skin Kitchen that the shop opened, and people that I had tattooed a couple years previously were coming in telling me that they were happy and proud of me and nice to see that I'm out of rehab and I'm doing good.
What are you talking about?
And I'm like,
yeah,
I went to Arizona for a little bit and was tattooing out there. Don't have any reason to go to rehab. What?
Exactly.
So if a tattoo guy just disappears one day, which that's kind of what happened, well, there's got to be a crazy reason. Yeah, he's in rehab. Reason. I'm thinking, rehab for what?
Yeah.
I was the cleanest arrow ever, So yeah, I put that much validity. I treat everything like it's that because that's really all the info I have on most things I hear. So I just hope that it's a malicious thing, that it isn't true. It's some sort of misunderstanding. I don't put any more gross out because of something like that. Yeah. I don't let that just because it was said get things grosser.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, yeah. Back to that. The whole thing. I think the funniest rumor I ever heard about myself was that I retired and moved to Hawaii.
Oh, I heard that too. How is it?
It's fantastic.
No fires?
I hate beaches. I hate heat.
Yeah.
I hate large bugs.
You hate
People.
everything, DaVo.
Yeah.
And
So
spam.
like
You're anti everything.
to me, 68 degrees is comfortable, not the 72 or whatever it is in Hawaii. The last place on the planet I would ever, plus I like beef too much.
Yeah.
Would I ever move to would be Hawaii.
That is interesting. I am curious now. Where would DaVo retire to? I want to hear this because you hate everything.
I don't
Where would you
hate
retire
everything.
to?
I
You do
just
your
don't-
anti everything. Where would you? Where would you?
Isn't it
reason-
everything?
What
Just everything you
anti
like.
place would you anti retire to?
Well, the thing is, it's like this: is like I've had people repetitively ask me, "Why didn't you move from Des Moines?" Like they see Des Moines as most of them are people that have lived outside of Des Moines for like 30, 40 years.
Any amount of time.
They grew up here, so what their idea of what Des Moines is the way it was 30 or 40
Okay.
years ago. And it's like I have never found any place that I like to live in better.
Yeah.
So you retire to here?
Possibly, I don't know. It depends on where my kid
Well, I mean,
ends
we
up.
pierce and
But
tattoo,
that-
so there will
but
be no
see,
retirement for us. So it's
DaVo,
just a fictitious thing.
You know why? Because people don't know.
I know.
So when people know that Iowa is as good as it is, that stops
Being
from
a
it
place I
being
wanna be.
good because then everybody comes here. You
Don't
ever heard
worry.
of California?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, let me tell you a little story about California, and that's what happens
But we are
when a
battling
state
it
gets
here.
popular because, ooh, that's a great place to be. You ever hear a little story called Colorado?
Yeah, they run
Yeah, let me tell. So shut
So-
the fuck up.
Yeah.
Iowa
Though.
is a cesspool shithole.
It's really
There-
cold here.
Right.
No
Sucks.
one
It's
likes
cold.
it
We
here.
get,
And
we,
we
get,
are-
we get 20 months of winter.
That's right.
we are
Everybody wants
battling-
out.
And we are battling the growth of the city. Every street we have, because now University is like Douglas. It is 2 lanes, one in
my
each
God.
direction, and a big turn lane down the middle because they have a no-nothing lane and then
Yeah.
a bike lane on each side.
Dude.
You know,
Yep.
because we have so many effing
Dawned on me.
bicycles in this effing town because
Yeah.
it snows. I don't know, 10 months out of the 12 of the
I lived in
year,
Chicago for a short time.
and you don't ride
And
bicycles when it
that's-
snows.
And that's when it dawned on me. I was living
So
in Chicago, and one day I was driving through that pothole infested,
Oh God.
and I was like, this is Des Moines just stuffed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
No.
my
Yeah.
experience is I can move back to Des Moines because I lived up there for a short period of time.
Yeah.
Could move back to Des Moines, have money in my pocket, nothing to do, or I could stay here, have tons of things to do, but
And have
no
to put
time
up with all
to
the
do it,
shit.
and no money to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how most cities are.
Yeah. It's,
I've found.
Yeah, and Des
But-
Moines eventually, you
I was
know,
just curious.
the way we've been growing, it's eventually not. gonna
Yeah,
be
well,
that
don't tell
great
us
here,
that
but-
because we've been narrowing the streets steadily.
yeah, which
It's stupid. when the
because
city
cars are
grows, but
getting
whatever.
squozed out steadily.
It's small town
Yeah, it's
infrastructure.
dumb.
Just
the
not built
idea.
for-
No.
Dumb,
The whole
dumb.
concept of it is the more control.
Why didn't you make a fucking bus lane to keep that bitch out
See,
of the goddamn
this
way?
comes from somebody who rode a bicycle here today. So
That's because you don't like to drive because you hate on it. But then, what do
Yeah.
you do when it rains? You ride in an Uber. It's a car.
and
What do
I'm
you need
happy
when you need to
take-
carry shit? You get a taxi because
Actually,
you need
no.
a car.
No, I have things delivered.
They have cars to drive them there.
I think
You're
it's-
missing the point.
I think
But
it's
they would have
great
been there anyway.
that DaVo can choose to ride a bike and someone can choose to drive a car.
Exactly.
I think it's awesome. Yeah.
I
to
think-
have that choice.
However-
Just because I prefer to drive a car, that
Yeah.
bikes should be illegal.
However, at the same
I
time,
don't think it should be illegal, but
there should be room for bicycles
I
on
agree.
major streets. They shouldn't be the way that things have been for the last 20 or 30 years.
Where do you draw the
They
line?
should be walkable neighborhoods again.
you have sidewalks in every
Somewhere in
neighborhood.
But where do you-
in this
Oh, no,
effing
you
town.
don't.
The
Where
hell
do
you
you-
don't. I have never seen so many sidewalks in my effing life, and
Where
I've
do
lived
you-
all over the friggin' country.
Where do you draw the line? I mean, what should be allowed to drive on the road? Anything with wheels? Anything that you wear
Here-
tight pants and a hat?
I think
No.
I think cars are a necessity regardless, especially in Des Moines because there's no way to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff, for most people, it's a necessity. Like if I still had a kid, I'd have to drive
Mhm.
because I'd be taxiing him all over the place.
Well, and to get your groceries and this and that and everything, it's so far, man.
It's much easier to have it delivered. And I spend less
The
money
mo-
because I
okay.
get exactly what I need. I'm not like, oh, I need ho-hos because they're on the aisle. I don't do those
Okey-doke.
impulse buys.
But someone's still driving a car.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. But no, the concept is the best way. I don't know how we got off on this subject. Best way to put it is the way it is in Holland is they haven't done away with cars. What they've done is made it more convenient to walk or bike to shops.
They made it harder to drive your car.
Like 300 people Holland, like a tiny little country that barely is a country Holland.
Actually,
yeah, I think you could model America after Holland and everything would be fucking perfect, DaVo.
You're not. Let me finish.
Okay.
The concept is the car can go further, right? Than you can walk or bike, right?
And you can carry more cargo and lots of things.
The car.
Faster.
You're selling me a 15-minute city. You're selling me a prison where you clock in, you can't clock out, and you're controlled, and you can only go here and only there at a time, which is great for people who love prison. Some people like.
I would much rather live
in prison, and that's fine. Go to prison, but some people don't want to live in prison.
Here's the deal.
Sorry,
it's a common concept. And basically, this is the bottom line of it: is if you get in a car, it's much easier for you to go 10 miles.
Yes.
Than it is for me to get on a bicycle and go 10 miles or walk 10 miles.
Yes.
So
and get anything
the
when you're there, bring it
car
back.
route is a little further out of the way than the direct bike and walking routes. That's all I'm asking for. That's what the whole 15-minute city is all about.
No, it's not.
You guys are, I don't know.
But listen, you know
I
what?
would like to
all
live
of
in a
that
place
goes
where
away. All of that goes away if you just live somewhere, grow some food, and just stay the fuck out of people's way.
Yeah.
Why do you got to be close to other people that are supplying you with everything you need? And if they disappeared, you'd fucking crumble and die. How about you go live? How about you go get a house and you get some land and you grow some food and you get maybe a couple animals and you just live peacefully by yourself instead of forcing everyone to do what you need them to do. I'm talking people who live in cities. Instead of, but I am. You're forcing everyone to do something so you can have an easier time because everyone's in your way. No, why don't you just get the fuck away from everyone and then you don't have to force anybody to do anything and you can spend all that time and energy on yourself.
Hey, David.
And
because I like culture.
Fuck culture.
Listen,
the culture
so if you
of anger.
retire to like Chicago or to Denver or to DC or anywhere like that, they have like a public transit system, like an A train, an L train, a subway,
just in Portland.
and you don't even need your bicycle anymore.
Or you just live on.
And look at that
if I made
city.
enough money, I would move
you didn't say nothing
I
about
would
that.
move
That
to
was not in the
Lakeshore.
fucking, what on your checklist to live in. He said he wanted it to be comfortable and more room for his bicycle direct routes. And I said, if you retired somewhere besides Des Moines that has public transit such as that, like Chicago or DC, he has his answer to his problem.
And
Ride the subway.
Part of the problem with just building wider and wider roads is you're never going to have a road wide enough for the demand for everyone on this planet to have a car.
Well, no, but
you're
going to
always be stuck behind people.
That.
It's always going to be.
I agree with that.
You know why? Because everybody's got to live with their dick up their fucking somebody else's ass. Why don't you get the fuck away from each other? Go get a little land, grow a little food, and stop spending all your time trying to take away choices from other people because you got to have somebody deliver your fucking bagel.
Here was my argument against going from 2 lanes to 1.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you need to keep increasing roads because of road traffic. But you do need to leave the road at capacity for what you already have in traffic in your city and not try to dwindle it down because you already have X amount of thousands of millions of cars going down that road a day. You can't magically make not that many cars go down the road by slimming it down. Now you just have more cars going through a thinner fucking corridor, taking more goddamn time.
Is you're taking
somebody can ride a fucking bicycle.
You're taking 4-lane streets, 4-lane streets, and turning them into 2 lanes and a turn. Basically, in essence, those streets, none of them were originally designed to be 4 lanes in the first place. They're not wide enough. This street, Douglas, is not wide enough. Neither is most of University.
But it worked. It was that way when I moved here.
But 90% of the time, you would be stuck if you were in the left-hand lane, you'd get stuck behind a car.
They are de-incentivizing driving a car. If they wanted to make it easier for people to drive cars, they'd make it easier. It's true. It's true.
They did make it easier.
They're going to tax people out of being able to afford a car. So there's going to be less traffic. So they are squeezing the fucking roads down. So people are going to be like, well, fuck, I can't buy. It's not even worth driving. Like Chicago. Yeah. And so everybody's going to get
must be a
forced
different
into
episode.
public transport. That means you have to get up at this time and you better leave at that time. And oh, you don't like it? Too bad. You don't have a choice now because
move to the middle of nowhere.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly what I'm
That's what I'm
saying.
saying.
We all want
I
freedom
will
of
sell
choice.
you some land in the middle of the fucking desert right now.
No,
I'll tell
you.
you what.
All right.
All by
I'll tell you what, guys. I know what my next
kidding.
bad tattoo idea is going to be.
Okay.
It's going to be Douglas Street.
Jam packed.
Bicycles fighting space with cars.
Yeah.
It's gonna be ugly,
It's
man.
awesome.
It's gonna evoke emotion from
Hey,
everybody.
I like to
think.
ride my dinosaur, and I just want a direct route. That's
Right.
all I want.
That's all I'm asking.
Build me a dinosaur
So just-
route straight through the fucking city.
And keep people away from it because it eats them.
It's all I
So,
want.
You know, it's a dino-only fucking raceway.
Awesome. All right, go away,
Sorry,
people.
kids. I love it.
I mean, the one person that's still listening.
This is the
Yeah, I don't know how we got
holidays.
off on that tangent.
Because
I-
the
it
city
wasn't my
growing and
fault.
shrinking the roads
I think
and all
we're
that.
working
It
on
was
a
Bicycle
two-parter.
Boy. Is this the end of part 2?
Right? I think so.
5.
I think we're mixing it up, baby.
Well, okay, so should we rehab or should we just finish this? thing?
Rehab.
I
Are
think
you
we better
kidding?
run.
I think we better cut it.
All right, till next time, here's hoping your piercings and tattoos. You'll have ease without a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, we all hope to see your tattooing and body piercing needs in the future. However, we're not going to give any more transportation advice.
No,
we're
we are bad at it. Not civil engineers at all.
Get a motorcycle. Those are cool.
Have fun,
Go
everybody.
fast, live dangerous.